Hey guys, Russ here with bishopswest.com. Wanted to talk today about using the step modulator within Bitwig Studio as a way to control effects. Before I get into that though, I did want to mention again, if you haven't done so already, please go to bishopswest.com/bitwig setup and download your free guide. It's called Accelerate Your Music Making in Bitwig Studio. And it's just a few easy steps that you can use to set up Bitwig Studio so that you don't have to go through the same stuff every time and put off actually making music. You can just get right to it. So again, bishopswest.com/bitwig setup, and it's just my free gift to you. Anyways, the step modulator. So what I've done is I've loaded up a drum sample within Bitwig Studio, and this is what it sounds like. Okay, so what you can do now is in here, let's say I want to do some bit crushing, so I add the bit 8, and if I do nothing, it's just going to sound like this. Okay. The problem is that it's affecting the whole loop, and I don't want it to do that. I only want it to affect certain beats, namely the snare drum. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and load up a step, the steps modulator. Click OK, and you can see it's running over here, but you'll notice there's nothing there. So if I expand that a little bit, it's got the 16 steps, but nothing there. So what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3-ish. 1, 2, 3, probably that one, roughly that one, and that one. And I'm going to set it for quarter notes, so 1/4 instead of 1/16. That would be way too fast. I've got 4 measures, so every third beat of a measure should be hitting now. The other thing I need to do is click here and assign it to, whoops, before I do that, let me take the mix all the way down so right now it's just the raw loop coming through. There's none of the bit crushing going on. When I click this, the amount of the step that I've put up here will affect the amount of the mix. Okay, click it again to finalize that. And now you can see every time it hits one of these bars, it goes up over there. Okay, so let's listen. One more thing. I'm going to assign it to the transport, so it's going to be following what's going on in the transport. Right now nothing's going on, but when I hit play, right? And that's good. That's what we were trying to achieve. So now every time the snare drum hits, it's going to add that bit crushing. I can take this a step further though. There's a couple ways to do it. I could add some more effects in here if I wanted to, and that might be a good idea. What I'm going to do instead though is, just for the sake of showing you, I'm just going to go ahead and add the steps device here, the step mod. And you can see that it adds its own separate device over here. Okay. If you're very new to Bitwig, this is the on-off. So now I'm just disabling this device, and I've got this one enabled. So right now, if I press play, nothing's happening. It's just that original loop coming through. I'm going to change this again to 1/4, and going to set it to re-trigger, so every time I start this loop, it's going to re-trigger where it's going through on this. And then I'm going to set it for 16 steps again, and then I'm going to do the same thing as before, where the third beat of every measure, I think I messed that up here, it's close enough. Third beat, not the fourth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a little bit's not going to matter that much. So now it's going to hit on every fourth, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this effects bin down here. So let me collapse this, get it out of the way. Now you can see it's got the blue plus over here. That's what's going to, if I click on this, whatever I add doing that is going to be added to the effects bin here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Same thing, I'm going to bring in the bit crusher, and let's just go take the mix all the way down to 0 and assign it to the mix. Give it some more jitter. Okay. Now the reason that I like using the step mod device is because I can keep adding devices or whatever I want to behind here. So in this case, I'm going to go with the reverb, and I've got to do the same thing. I'm going to take the mix down and assign it. In this case, as you know, I'm sure working with reverbs, I still want the original signal to come through, so maybe half-ish, so that I get both the mix and the original signal and the reverb signal coming through. So let's see what that sounds like. And what's kind of interesting about that is that because it's all included in the step mod here, it holds the reverb just as long as we've set it in the step mod here, no longer. So it won't trail off. It doesn't really matter how long I set that. It's just going to be cut off as soon as that bar goes back down to 0 in the next beat. Okay. Just to keep going a little bit more, let's do this. Let's experiment a little bit. Sometimes this goes well, sometimes not. We'll see what happens today. In this case, yeah, let's do the same thing where I mod the mix. Okay, and I'll take it way down just so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Right. So again, it's leaving the rest of the loop untouched. All it's affecting is that one beat, the third beat of each measure, and it only lasts for that one beat. Okay. So now, just to get a little bit creative though, I'm going to leave that at 0. Let's see if I can get this to work. I'm going to add an LFO, and I'm going to use this to take that down a little bit, about that much. Now that's going to be way too fast, so I'm also going to, hopefully you're able to see this behind my head, set this to half note, turn off the bipolar, because I just wanted to go to the starting point and up, or in this case I've got it going, moving the semitones down, so it's going to drop the pitch. And then I'm going to change the shape, I think, to a triangle like that. No trigger. So now let's see what happens when I press play. Perfect. That's probably too much. Well, now I've got the timing messed up. There we go. Okay. So I'm sure there are other ways to achieve that effect. I know there are, but that's just something fun, something to play around with. Now, of course, you guys can use this. The obvious application is the drums, but I would say try it on vocal loops, on instruments. Just see what you can come up with. And I think I just heard the dryer going off in the background. That's funny. But yeah, just experiment and see what happens. Hopefully this was useful to you guys. If it was, definitely click like. If you want to see more, click subscribe. How's that for high class, huh? And as I've said before, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below in the comments section. It's always fun to hear from you guys, and I look forward to interacting with you guys more and more. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Again, bishopswest.com/bitwig setup to download that free guide. And I will talk to you guys next time.